done properly and without making any mistakes. You should not miss out any components or anything while doing so. Okay. So these things are what you have to take care. So last class we were discussing about the one of the problem where we had mass M1, M2 and M3. So just a minute, I will just project it for you and then we'll continue further. So in module 1, you can all see, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
fine. So in module 1, we have been discussing on this problem where you can see that there is mass M1. So 1 minute. So here you can see there are mass M1, M2 and all those things. So we will I will just highlight those things and discuss with you. Okay, here you can see that M3 is there, M1 is there, and M2 is there. So you have M1, M2, M3, and you have K1, K2, and K3, as well as B1, B2, B3. So B1, B2, it's between M1 and M3, and you have B3 between M3 and M2, as well as B2. So these things we have seen, and you have a force term f of t. So we have to make sure that how many x is the x here, it will be x1, x2 and x3. So all these things need to be taken care, and you need to proceed further for drawing the diagram. So I think all of you might have understood that. So what we have discussed here is you have as you know that you have x1 and you have x2 and you have x3. So when you have x1, x2 and x3, you need to put 3 points x1, x2 and x3. So let us see that first you have to go with here. That's what you have to mark these things. So first I will be doing this point x1 and then I have to go with x2 and then I have to go with x3. So once I mark all the 3 points x1, x2 and x3, so I should find out that which all components are available. So first your work is to mark the points x1, x2 and x3 and then check it out which all components are available for you to do with respect to those things in between. So which all components lie in between, we have to see. So we'll be understanding that first how to draw the mechanical network. So as you have solved many problems based on that, you know that some of the systems, some of the components like K1 as I have K and M1, then B2, K2 and B1. These all are linked to X1. If you take X2, M2, F of T and B3, you can see in the figure. Let us take x1. You can see in the figure x1, you can see that this is x1, so you know that m1 is there, then you have k1 is there. So all these components you have, b2 is there, k2 is there. So all these things has to get connected with x1. So you have seen that there are all total k1, m1, b2, k2 and b1. So all these are connected to x1, and you can see the 3 points x1, x2 and x3. So further what we were asked to do is to write the equations. So as you have already done quite a lot of equations, it is very easy for you to write it. And let us see that if you are taking for node x1, so for node x1, what are the components here? K1 is there, M1 is there, B2 is there, K2 and B1 is there. So first equation for K1, so it will be K1 x1, and next one will be for M1 d square x1 by dt square, B2 d by dt of x1 minus x2 and so on. So you'll get equal to 0 because the force term is not connected to x1. This problem actually we have done in the previous class. So I am just briefing you out what all things we did in the previous class. So what further we have to write the equation for x2 and one more thing, in the previous class I have asked you to draw that network. All of you have completed that? See, have you completed that network in the class? The final answer, the figure?
Yes, sir.
Okay, is there any doubt for you? It was clear. Whether it was clear for you? Yeah, fine. So we have seen all these things, and further moving on to x2 and x3. So we will discuss on x2 and x3. So you got x2 as m2 d square x2 by dt square plus b2 d by dt x2 minus x1 plus k1 k2 x2 minus x1 and b3 d by dt of x2 minus x3 f of t. Similarly, you can write for node x3. See, can you see this properly, right? You're able to see, no? So just respond to me. Yeah, fine. So how you have drawn with that network? How you have drawn the network?
So we already know in force current what should M be, what should K be, and what should B be. So we just replace the components.
Fine. What are the components you have replaced it? See,
In place
you
of
have
B1,
draw for force current analogy, right? So
yes,
which all components you have replaced it? I know that you understood these things. So which are the components you have replaced it? Can you just name the components with respect to x1?
with respect to X1, sir.
So you are going to get the same shape, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
yeah, fine. Tell with respect to x1. What you have replaced for k1?
K1 will be L1, sir.
Which one will be L1?
M1.
K
Okay. Next one?
K1 will be C1, sir.
Okay.
And B2 will be L2. No,
B2
sir.
will be?
B2 will be R2.
Okay.
And K2 will be L2.
A2 will be L2. Okay.
X1 will become E1 of T.
One more is there. B1 is there.
Yes, sir. That is between X1 and X3, no, sir. That is
It
R1,
is
sir.
connected to X1 only, right?
Yes, sir. That becomes R1, sir.
R1. Fine, fine. Yeah, any one of you else can just say for X2. X2 will become?
M2 will become C2, sir.
M2 will become C2, okay. X2 will become E2.
E2 and F of T will be I of T.
Okay.
And between E2 and E3 we'll have R3. B3 will become R3.
R3, okay. So someone else can try for E3. That is for X3. X3, one of you.
Sir,
Yeah, tell me.
X3 becomes E3, sir.
Correct.
E3 is connected to M3 becomes C3.
M3 will become
C3, sir.
C3 and K3?
A3 becomes L3, sir.
L3. Rest of the things we have already told. Okay. So this is what the force current analogy will come all about. for you. From the equations, you have to write the force current analogy, and you will get these terms E for E1, E2, and E3. So this is what you will get it. Then you will have, as you know, that the components are having as per the figure and equations, whatever you have written. When you go with the force current analogy, you replace these components in this form. You get L1, C1, R2, L2, R1 for E1, and for E2 you'll get C2 and I of T and R3, and for E3 you'll get C3 and L3. So this is how the entire system will look like. This is the diagram what you have to draw. This full diagram, it carries marks for you. Okay. This you should not make any mistake, so that if you write the equations properly, everything will be correct for you. So is that clear? It's clear for everyone, right? We'll move on to the next one.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So this is all about what we have learned for module 1. So we have studied the mechanical network, the force current analogy, and all those things. So we have done quite a lot of problems as well to understand these things. So it's very much clear for you that how the force current analogy has to be, how the force voltage analogy need to be, and you know that how it is for the rotational system. You as well as know for how it is for the translation system, how to draw the mechanical network, how to write the equivalent equations for that, and how to come out with a network for analogy circuits and all those things. So so quite a good number of problems we have solved, and this will be helpful for you to understand this module in much detail. So any doubts is not, if you don't have any doubts, we will move on to the next module, that is module 2. Is that clear for everyone, right? Module 1. If you have any doubts, you can discuss with me at any point of time. Let me move on to the module 2. So all of you write down module 2, block diagram and signal flow graphs. So you can just write down the title, block diagram and signal flow graph. So this is the title for that module, block diagram and signal flow graph. So first we'll see here, we will be studying what do you mean by block diagram, how to simplify a block further, what is the need of a signal flow graph, how the signal flow graphs has to be taken care, what is a transfer function, and all those things. So all these categories has to be understood clearly. So first we'll go with transfer function. First of all, to start with, we'll go with the transfer function. So this is what we are going to see, transfer function. So as you know that I have briefly described the transfer function in the previous class, where you have understood that what do you mean by a transfer function, and so how to go with it. Here we will be studying in much detail about transfer function. So first, to understand about transfer function, it is one of the way to model the system mathematically. So we are going to get the mathematical equation for that, and transfer function is a linear time invariant system, and defined as the ratio of Laplace transform to here you are going to see the ratio of output to the input under the condition that the initial conditions are all 0. So that is what you can see in here. Transfer function basically will discuss about the ratio of output to the input under the condition that the initial conditions are 0. So that is what you can just note down the definition for that. We will take the one of the system, and we will try to simplify it further. So first to understand, we'll be understanding this in detail and then move on to just solve the problems and go ahead with that. So first to understand that transfer function is it's a mathematical representation, and what you can understand here is it is the ratio of output to the input under the conditions of initial conditions, that is 0. So we will be studying those things in detail. So you can just note down the definition for that, and then we will move on further. So all of you write down module 2. So module 2, block diagram and signal flow graphs. So the first thing what we are going to study here is about transfer function. So here the same thing, we are going to use the mass, damper, spring, and you may, if you are going with the rotational system, all those things remains the same, torque and all. So here just you have to understand that how a block diagram has to be simplified systematically, and here I'll be first explaining the steps to simplify the block diagram. So how each block has to be taken care and how it has to be simplified further. So all these things we'll be discussing now. Once you complete the definition for that, just let me know that. We'll move on to the some of the equations and all further. So already you have studied these things. So you have you completed this? So what you can see here is x of s by f of s. You will get so you'll get it as x of s divided by f of s. So you have to go with the transfer function. So you will see those things. So you have completed the definition.
Yes,
See
sir.
response, yeah. Then draw this figure. So we will be writing the transfer function for this, and then we will be understanding how to what is a transfer function and how to simplify the block diagram further. So it's a very simple diagram. So the same way you have to write the equations for f of t. So you can see that f of t, you have to write the equations for f of t. So write the equation for f of t as usual. The equation what you'll get for f of t. So any one of you have completed this, can write the equation for f of t. It's a very simple equation. What is that you are going to get for f of t? F of t is equal to, yeah, one of you make an attempt.
M into d square x by dt square
M into d square x by dt square.
plus kx
Okay.
plus b into d by dx of dt.
Fine. So f of t is equal to m into d square x by dt square plus b into d by dx by dt plus kx. That is the equation for motion f of t. So all of you have completed till here?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So write the f of t, what do you call f of t as the input of the system? So you know that some force is applied and x of t is the response for the system. So you can just write the Laplace transform for that. So you will get f of s is equal to. So all these things we have studied in the previous class. So you should be able to write it. So all of you wrote for f of t, and you have to write further. So all of you have written for f of t, right? Then you write for f of s. What is the equation for f of s?
m1 s square plus b1s plus k whole bracket x of s is equal to f of s.
F of s is equal to?
m1 s square x of s.
M1 is not there here.
M.
See, you should be careful while writing the equations or problems. If 2m is there, then only m1, m2 will come. If only single m, that's it. Okay, fine. Because when you are solving the problems, no, it will make lot of difference. Yeah, let me know that m s square
X of s.
ms square x of s b of sx of s
Yes, plus k x of s.
x of s. So all of you might have written that Laplace transform equation for that, and then moving on further, what we will be doing is you got f of s and you have x of s. So let us write x of s divided by f of s. Try to write x of s divided by f of s. So I will just show you this one. So take x of s together, all this x of s together, and you are going to see that. So take for x of s together and then write for x of s divided by f of s. So here I am going to just introduce a term g of s. So what you have to understand here is x of s divided by f of s. That you can say what is x of s. I have told you that that is the response of the system, and f of f will be the input of the system. So what you can see here is so taking the ratio that is x of s by f of s, you call it as g of s, and that is equal to 1 by the terms ms square plus bs plus k. So this g of s is called the transfer function. This g of s can be called as the transfer function. So g of s, you will get the ratio of x of s by f of s, and it will be 1 by ms square plus bs plus k. See here, it is only for this small diagram whatever we have drawn there. So let us just write it in a format of a figure. So you will get like this. So this is f of s, and this is g of s. Then you will be having x of s. So x of s by f of s, you will get it as g of s. So this is g of s is the transfer function. So you need to remember that most of the cases we will be using for transfer function as g of s. So you should understand that it is ratio of output to input, that is x of s divided by f of s for any of the figures, okay, or any of the problem. So all of you understood till here? So it's not new, we have studied, we have just continued the things whatever we discussed in the first module. Only one thing what we have introduced here is g of s. Rest all the things we have already studied before. So it's clear, we will move on further.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So here few note you write down. You can just you need to remember these things. That is, the inverse Laplace transform for the transfer function g of x is the impulse response g of d. If you take the inverse Laplace transform for the transfer function, if you now you have taken the Laplace transform, if you take the inverse Laplace transform, you will get the impulse response. You call that as impulse response, and that is denoted as small letter g of t. And second note, what you have to be careful here is, so here it is not Laplace transform, here it is inverse Laplace transform. So if you take the inverse Laplace transform of g of s, you will get impulse response g of t. Then let me tell you the other one. If the numerator of the transfer function is 0 and solve, then we have to find the system roots, systems zeros. If this thing we will be using it further, so we will just try to understand this second point. The first point is quite simple. If you take the inverse Laplace transform of g of s, you will get impulse response, that is called as g of t. Now second point is numerator. You have two things, one here as numerator and denominator. So if you are taking the numerator of the transfer function is 0 and solve, then we find that we can find out the system zeros. That is, if we are taking the numerator and solving it, you can find out the system zeros. There are two things here. One is called as zeros and poles and zeros. So poles and zeros in much detail we'll be studying further. As of now, just I am giving you an idea how this poles and zeros need to be found out. These poles and zeros can be found by taking the equating the numerator and denominator to 0. So if you are taking the numerator to 0, you will find the zeros, and if you are taking the denominator to 0 and solve for the roots, then you will find the poles. So zeros are denoted like this. Zeros are notation for zeros will be in the same way, and but for poles, no, the notations will be in this form, like x. Okay, we will denote poles with x notation, and for zeros we'll give it as zeros only. So that is what you can understand. If your numerator of the transfer function is 0 and solve, we can find out the zeros, and if you take the denominator and solve for the roots, you can find out the poles. So these notes you can just write down. From here onwards, it's very important. Elements of block diagram. So we'll be studying so many symbols here, and each symbol is very important. You should understand this carefully if you really want to solve this block diagram. Each point, whatever terms we use and all those things has to be taken care properly. So let us discuss upon all those things. So just write down block elements of block diagram. All of you note down these things. Don't miss any point. So first we'll be discussing on summing point, a summing symbol, and then rest of the symbols. So here you know that summing symbol, you know that two terms are there. You are taking the addition of those things. So the process of summing takes place. So here in block diagram also we will have the same way. If it is plus is there, you have to add sum of those things. If minus is there, you need to subtract and all those things. It's the same simple thing, but you have to go with some symbols and notations and all to understand these things, and that is the standard process which is being followed in block diagram reduction process. So first one is summing symbol. So just write down this. In the next sheet I'll be explaining what it is exactly. Just complete this off. When two or more excitation sources are acting simultaneously, they should be summed up and applied to the system. This process is indicated by a summer. I'll show you how the summer will look like in the next sheet. Okay. So you can just write down. That is what, if you are having a plus sign, you will add those things. If you are having a minus sign, you will do the subtract. It's quite simple. So you are going to take two blocks, whether to sum or whether to subtract. So it's all decided by the summing block, and you have to be careful while moving the summing. So we'll be having a lot of procedures here, and moving summing block from one end to another. So all this is like logical analysis. Nobody can help you out rather than you practicing yourself. So what you have to do is you have to think logically how to solve a problem, what is important for you, whether you need to take care of the summing blocks or you have to take care of nodes, or which point you have to move first, whether you have to move it towards the right, you have to move it towards the left, which block can be simplified further, easy to simplify, all those things. Uh, as a student, you have to analyze those things before solving the problem. So once you understood those things, then solving the problem will become easy for you. So first thing what we'll be studying here is summing symbol. So this is the summing symbol. So you can just write down that when two or more excitation sources are acting simultaneously, they should be summed up and applied to the system. This process is indicated by a summer. So if it is over, we will move on to the next sheet, and I'll explain you how it looks like and how the process has to be done. So if it is over, you just let me know that. Is that completed?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So first we will be discussing on summing symbol. So all of you listen carefully. Yeah. So this is what you call as a summer. This one. This I have put one circle inside that one cross symbol. So you can see that it is a summer. It's very simple. If I put one cross and like this, it is called as a summer. You will have some inputs here and some output here. So you may have some entry also here. So it can be anything. So if you put the notation in this form, you call that as a summer. This will give you as a summer. So you can just see that we are going to go with one. We're going to go with this circuit. So what all things are there? There are two sources V1 and V2. So one is connected to plus and a resistor is connected here. So plus minus minus plus it is there. So you are going to see that how you can make the equivalent circuit in the form of a diagram. So what you can see here is you have to introduce a summer, and you will be having the voltage. See here, you have positive symbol connected here, so you are putting the arrow mark and writing plus here. You can see here a negative sign is there, so we are putting the arrow mark and putting it as minus, and then it has to be connected to the resistance part, and then you are going to do that complete diagram. So this is what you can see with respect to one. This is an example. So that this block, this point, this one, as I have shown you, this portion is called as the summing point, or you can call it as a summer. And you should make sure that these symbols are there, no? This one plus. You should be very careful with this plus and this minus as well. And you should be also careful with respect to this direction of the summer. So all these things is very important, and we will be seeing further. This is just an example for you to understand that how a summer looks like, and how it can be explained. So after that, we'll be moving on to next thing that is called as takeoff symbol. Another thing that is takeoff symbol, which so that we'll be discussing first to complete this diagram. Then we'll discuss of takeoff point. So what do you mean by takeoff point and takeoff symbol? So when one excitation source is applied to two or more system, its action is indicated by takeoff symbol. So we'll see that. So all this summing point here, no, in control system, understanding the things is quite easy. But when you really do to solve the problems, no, you should be very careful. So you should not miss any small things like so some of them don't care about plus symbol and minus symbol and all those things. So those kind of way you cannot get the right answer. So you have to be very careful while solving the problems with even with a positive sign or a negative sign, some takeoff symbol, or each component involved in it. All those things has to be taken care properly. So if we have completed that diagram, we will move on to the takeoff symbol. So in takeoff symbol, that is what this is another one. So when one excitation source is applied to two or more system, its action is indicated by takeoff symbol. So that is what you can see here. So you can see here, this is the point, and you can see one voltage source being connected, and it is having two things connected to it. One is R1 here and another is R2 here. So you can see the equivalent point here. This is this point where I have highlighted it. That point is called as the takeoff point. So this point where it is really going to split. Okay. So this is what we understood till now, and those who have not attended the classes for today, they are not going to understand this block diagram reduction further. It's very difficult for them to understand further. So first you have to understand these things. What is a takeoff point and what do you mean by summer? So here you can see that it's almost like a node getting replaced here. So you can see I1 is there, I2 current is there, and voltage source V is there. So V is connected here, and this point is takeoff point, and the resistance are further connected to that. So this is the circuit, how it can be replaced in this form. So these are two notations which you have to understand: summing point and takeoff point. So once you are clear with the summing point and takeoff point, then we will be understanding that how the summing point has to be shifted further and takeoff point can be moved on here and there as per your requirement. Is that clear for all of you? Is that clear for you? See, summing point and takeoff point is clear for you?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So you can just complete it. We have not moved further with respect to the entire block diagram reduction and all those things. These are just a simple terms for you to remember and understand. What if I say that summing point means, you should know what is a summing point. If I say that takeoff point, you should know what is a takeoff point. That is only what you have to understand from here. Really how the reductions has to be done and all is yet to be discussed. So we'll discuss those things. So here the terms you have to understand, and I have told you that plus minus all those things you should be very careful. So if you have completed this, we'll move further. You have completed? See, if you have completed, just let me know then. It's over?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, then you are clear with takeoff point as well as summing point. We'll move on further. You are clear with both the things?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So we will just go ahead with closed loop transfer function. So in closed loop transfer function, so we have one thing what we have studied before is, we have studied two things in control system. One is called as open loop, another is called as closed loop. So let me know that what you have understood about open loop and closed loop. What is the major difference between open loop and closed loop? One of you first. What is the major difference between open loop system and closed loop
Feedback,
system?
sir.
Feedback mechanism. So the feedback mechanism is a major difference between a closed loop system and an open loop system. So we are going to see that now the closed loop transfer function. So we'll see this diagram. So one of the example is taken here. This is the diagram we have taken where you have a closed loop mechanism where, because you are having the feedback mechanism, you can see that this is the feedback mechanism. So from the output, you are going to connect to the input. So this is the transfer function which has to create an entire control system is called as a closed loop. So the entire control system which has a feedback mechanism is called as a closed loop control system. So here you have to understand few things here. Listen carefully. You hear this portion is called as the, what is the name of this one? What is this? So you respond fast so that yeah, summer. So this is summer. What is this?
Takeoff point.
Yeah. So so we have to see that there is a you can see that there is a feedback mechanism here. So as you have feedback mechanism involved in it, you can try to understand that there will be two feedback mechanism. One is called as negative feedback and another is called as positive feedback. How you call it as a negative feedback? Listen carefully. This will be required for you while solving the problem. Negative feedback. If the feedback ends at negative. So if you are putting the symbol here minus, then this feedback mechanism is called as negative feedback system. If it is in place of minus, if it is plus, if I put plus here, then it is positive feedback mechanism. So that is what you have to understand. Now this feedback, you can call it as a negative feedback since the feedback ends in negative. That is, this point is this symbol you have put here negative. Okay. So just you can just draw this figure and continue further. So all of you write down closed loop transfer function, write these things, draw this diagram, and the summing point is used to make the comparison between the controlled variable C of S and the reference input R of S. So you can see that so you have C of S and R of S. So we'll see all these things. We are going to see the transfer function for this. So you have to see that C of S is output and R of S is the input. So you're going to see that C of S by R of S. So the summing point is used to make the comparison between the controlled variable C of S and the reference input R of S. So the actuating signal you can call it as E of S. So is produced. So we'll see. So you'll be writing the equations for C of S by R of S. So all of you have completed that figure. So see here, all of you have completed the figure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So from the figure, can you write E of S? E of S. E of S is combination of what all things? E of S. It is a summer block. So you can write for E of S. E of S will be combination of. So you need to write in this form. E of S is equal to R of S minus C of S into H of S. You can see that here C of S is the output here and the feedback mechanism is being passed on at this point and it is negative symbol here, negative feedback. So E of S has to be written as R of S minus C of S into H of S. You can put that as equation number 1.
So it should be output minus input, no sir?
We have not come to the transfer function. We are writing just the equation for E of S, that's all. We have not arrived at the transfer function yet. We are doing it still. So only the equation for E of S is R of S is positive and this is negative. So R of S minus C of S into H of S you should give because it is a negative feedback that will be given as E of S. It is an equation for E of S. You can put that as equation number 1. So we will continue it further. I think it's almost time for us. So we will move on to those things further. We'll be that is what I'll just show you that we'll be finally we'll be arriving at the equation C of S by R of S is equal to G of S divided by 1 plus G of S H of S. Very important equation for negative feedback mechanism. This equation we'll derive it for the tomorrow's class, and we will again go with the feedback positive feedback mechanism as well. So just this is negative feedback and its control function. So we'll stop it for today. Whatever we have discussed, is that clear for you today?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, fine. Okay, then thank you. We'll meet for the tomorrow's class. Okay, thank you all. Thank you.